politician Tiffany Henyard appears to have lost control of both governments.
Henyard's landlord showed up here to see her tenant in person after she says Henyard has been dodging both her and rent.
Tiffany Henyard's once promising political career has taken a dramatic and devastating turn, transforming from a historic breakthrough as the first Black woman elected mayor of Dalton, Illinois, to a scandal-ridden downfall marked by allegations of corruption, financial mismanagement, and a rapidly deteriorating public image. Initially celebrated for breaking barriers and inspiring change, Henyard's tenure quickly unraveled as mounting accusations of misconduct surfaced, leaving the community reeling. What was supposed to be a period of progress for Dalton has instead been overshadowed by a series of controversies that have deeply shaken the trust of the town's residents. At the heart of the scandal are claims that Henyard misappropriated public funds for personal indulgence, including extravagant purchases that have shocked the community. Among the most egregious accusations is a staggering $43,000 Amazon shopping spree conducted in a single day, a blatant misuse of taxpayer money that has left Dalton residents questioning her priorities and judgment. Records also reveal lavish spending on first-class flights, five-star hotel stays, and personal luxuries, such as a $110,000 stay at the Four Seasons Hotel in Atlanta, decisions that have only exacerbated Dalton's growing financial crisis. These revelations have cast a dark shadow over Henyard's leadership, as a town once hopeful for revitalization now grapples with the reality that its mayor's actions have deepened its financial instability. Critical projects have stalled or been abandoned, and debt has spiraled out of control under her administration. Once aligned with her vision for the town, trustees have found themselves scrambling to undo the harm caused by Henyard's alleged actions, but the damage has already been done. Dalton's fiscal health, which once seemed poised for an upward trajectory, now teeters on the brink of collapse, and Henyard's actions have left lasting scars on the community. The consequences of her decisions extend far beyond finances. Henyard's fall from grace has dealt a blow to both public trust and the future of Dalton. The promise of transformation has instead led to a fractured town burdened by the very decisions meant to inspire progress. Critics argue that her conduct has not only tarnished the office she holds but also deeply harmed the fabric of Dalton itself. As residents find themselves struggling with the fallout of her choices, calls for accountability have grown louder, with demands for transparency regarding how public funds were redirected for personal gain instead of being used to improve the community. Henyard's political future now hangs in the balance as legal investigations into her financial activities intensify. Her status as a trailblazer in local politics has been overshadowed by scandal, and her once promising leadership is now eclipsed by public outrage. In the wake of her alleged misconduct, Dalton stands on the precipice of disillusionment, with the future of its leadership uncertain and residents yearning for resolution and a return to integrity. Henyard's rise and fall serve as a cautionary tale about the devastating consequences of corruption and the unchecked abuse of power. As legal battles intensify and the town continues to suffer from the financial wreckage left in her wake, Henyard's legacy now stands as a stark reminder of the dangers inherent in a lack of oversight and a betrayal of public trust. What began as a beacon of hope and a symbol of progress has become a sobering reflection of how quickly leadership can fall, leaving deep scars on a community that once believed in change. Despite the overwhelming evidence against her and the growing demand for her resignation, Henyard has shown increasing defiance, refusing to cooperate with efforts to resolve Dalton's fiscal problems. Her repeated opposition to proposals aimed at limiting the town's excessive spending, including vetoing measures to implement stricter financial controls and bring in an independent auditor, has left the town's administration in a state of gridlock. This deadlock has only fueled public outrage, with town hall meetings becoming increasingly tense, noisy demonstrations erupting in the streets, and social media campaigns demanding her immediate resignation. Yet Henyard has remained steadfast, presenting herself as a misunderstood leader unfairly targeted by critics. In a series of bizarre public appearances, she has further alienated even her staunchest supporters. At one town meeting, Henyard reportedly arrived with a golden microphone, an ostentatious gesture that stunned the audience. At another, a DJ allegedly played Rihanna's "Venus Better Have My Money," seemingly mocking the gravity of the situation. These antics, rather than calming the storm, have only intensified public anger. As Henyard's grip on power weakens, Dalton's residents find themselves at a crossroads. The town, once filled with hope for a brighter future, under her leadership now faces an uncertain future. With legal investigations underway and widespread calls for reform, Dalton stands on the brink of a critical turning point. The fallout from Henyard's actions may not yet be fully realized, but the demand for accountability, transparency, and ethical leadership has never been louder. Tiffany Henyard's downfall should not only serve as a warning to others in positions of power, but also as an opportunity for the town to rebuild and restore the faith of its residents. In the end, Henyard's dramatic fall from grace is a cautionary tale of the destructive power of unchecked leadership. It highlights the dangers of corruption and financial mismanagement and underscores the importance of accountability in public office. As Dalton grapples with the consequences of her tenure, the hope remains that the lessons learned from this dark chapter will inspire the reforms necessary to restore the community to its former strength. The growing perception that Tiffany Henyard is out of touch with the gravity of Dalton's crisis has only deepened in recent weeks. Her bizarre antics and consistent failure to address the serious allegations against her have intensified public frustration. Her increasingly erratic behavior, such as arriving at meetings with a golden microphone and allowing a DJ to play Bob Better Have My Money, has further alienated even her staunchest supporters. These strange actions, paired with her refusal to engage meaningfully with the allegations of financial misconduct, have created a sense of growing unease. Once vocal supporters of Henyard's leadership, Dalton's trustees have now turned on her, expressing regret for their early backing. In hindsight, they view their initial support as a mistake, particularly as Henyard continues to avoid confronting the accusations leveled against her. Her rare and increasingly odd public appearances have only fueled concerns that she is in denial about the consequences of her actions, further alienating the public and eroding trust in her leadership. Meanwhile, suspicions have emerged that Henyard may be attempting to flee Dalton before facing legal repercussions. As rumors swirl about her potential plan to escape, responsibility, the FBI's growing focus on tracking her whereabouts, combined with her silence on key issues, has led to fears that she might attempt to evade the consequences of her actions. This adds another layer of uncertainty to the IER situation. What began as a political struggle has spiraled into a full-blown crisis, marked by her defiance, erratic behavior, and refusal to address the legitimate concerns of Dalton's residents and officials. This leadership vacuum has left Dalton in a state of chaos, gripped by financial woes and a pervasive sense of dysfunction. As the town grapples with mounting debt and deteriorating public services, Henyard's inability, or unwillingness, to confront the allegations against her has left the future of Dalton hanging in the balance. Residents and officials are increasingly questioning whether Henyard has any intention or ability to lead effectively. As tensions rise, the likelihood of legal consequences becomes ever more probable. Calls for accountability continue to mount, and many fear that the town may endure even greater strife before reaching a breaking point. Suspicion surrounding Henyard's leadership has intensified further following the indictment of deputy police Chief L.S. Lacey on charges of bankruptcy fraud. This development has raised concerns that Henyard may be more deeply involved in corruption than previously thought, suggesting a potential pattern of financial misconduct within her administration. With public and legal pressure mounting, the trustees of Dalton have taken urgent steps to curb Henyard's influence. They have implemented stricter financial controls, revoked her access to local credit cards, and launched an impartial investigation into her financial dealings. However, these efforts have met fierce opposition from Henyard, who has vehemently blocked all attempts to introduce independent audits or external scrutiny of her administration. Her resistance to transparency has deepened the crisis, further eroding trust in her leadership and worsening Dalton's already precarious situation. The town's infrastructure continues to crumble under financial strain, and concerns are mounting about the future of essential public services. If Dalton's financial health continues to deteriorate, key personnel and services could be at risk, heightening fears about the town's ability to recover. Henyard's defiance has effectively paralyzed the town's government. Her opposition to reforms undermines the trustees' efforts to stabilize the administration. Attempts to create an emergency budget to address urgent fiscal concerns have been delayed or blocked, leaving residents increasingly alarmed about the town's future. The public's frustration has reached new heights, fueled by suspicions of Henyard's last-ditch efforts to cling to power or avoid accountability. Rumors of her possible connections to Lacey's legal troubles, along with her continued resistance to transparency, have sparked speculation about whether she is actively working to shield herself from legal action. As the situation grows more tense, trustees and residents are questioning whether Henyard is considering drastic measures to escape the escalating scrutiny. Many fear that she might attempt to flee before facing the full consequences of her actions. The uncertainty surrounding her leadership and the possibility of her evading accountability have left Dalton in a state of limbo, with the community unsure whether Henyard will finally be held responsible for the turmoil she has caused.